Hello, readers, and welcome back to Shelf Help. Our story begins at the end. Lily has cancer, and it's terminal. I'm gonna be honest. My mother had cancer twice. I had 2 dogs that passed from cancer. These chapters are a little hard to read. If you'd prefer to skip these first 2 chapters, here is your timestamp to the afterlife. The doctor had given her options, of course. Options to prolong, options to ease, but options were for people with money. If that isn't a summary of the American healthcare system, I don't know what is. Lily pressed her fingers to her eyes until she saw stars. She would be dead in less than a year with no treatment. With aggressive chemo, she could buy herself more time. Miserable, painful time. And debt. Why did it always come down to money? Her job paid reasonably well. She got a week of paid time off each year, with no accumulated time off from year to year, of course. But benefits? Too expensive for a company that would rather pad the bottom line. It is no great insight to point out that this is very much the reality for a large portion of Americans. I can put up a lot of charts and graphs about stagnant wages and rising cost of living, rising medical costs, home prices, and literally everything the Marmalade Mussolini is doing to make all of these problems worse. The list is endless. Most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, without enough savings to survive a surprise $400 bill, much less a major medical emergency. Even what is considered a well-paying job these days is still not enough. Meanwhile, corporations exist in a world of pure imagination, where they can draw infinite growth and profit from a finite world. So they don't hire enough people, they don't upgrade equipment, keep pay low, little time off, and no benefits. All to keep the illusion of growth. There are hundreds of videos on this site that go into great detail on the topic. But it is estimated 52 to 68% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. And with the current administration that runs on the whims of a Nepo baby man-child, it is unlikely to get better in the foreseeable future. We get our first taste of the religious trauma in Chapter 2. Her genial attitude had its limits, however, and those limits made themselves rather abruptly known every time one of her religious relatives or her parents' well-meaning church friends pushed the idea of faith healing on her or urged her to convert before her death. As, let's say, religious other, living in the Bible Belt of the southern United States, I understand that when someone says they are going to pray for you or invite you to go to church, they mean well. Generally. Most people are not actively seeking to emotionally manipulate others, especially when they're most vulnerable. They really do think they're helping, that by accepting their particular brand of religion, you will find peace and be saved from their all-loving God who will torture you forever if you don't. There's some cognitive dissonance going on, but again, the heart is in the right place, even if the head is elsewhere. And then there's the Caitlins of the world. In a particular ballsy move, a former college roommate named Caitlin had emerged from the depths of social media and taken the opportunity to tout the healing abilities of essential oils. She had been more than happy to sell Lily a bottle or 12, and stated it worked best when combined with prayer. There is no system you can create that won't have someone trying to take advantage of it. And when you start with a group of people who already have a set core belief that you just add to, it makes the con easier. That said, multi-level marketing, like essential oils, also tends to have a base level of true believers who are also incentivized to make money to reach the next level. People are complicated. Toss in religion and money, and things get even more messy. But Lily has passed from the world of the living. First, through a liminal in-between place where she remembers her previous lives. Well, the ending of those lives at least. Frozen, burned, starvation, and cancer. She did not get old once, and she's a bit peeved about it. But this does bring us to the first glimpse of the hereafter as she arrives in Death's waiting room. Eclectic rows of seating stretched into the distance. Armchairs, pews, cushions, prayer mats, benches, some of them occupied by people, souls, she realized, who were, for whatever reason, waiting. On the far side of the space, she could make out a line of what looked like, and instinct told her, were desks. The lobby is open to everyone, of every faith and creed and nationality. The seating is intermixed, letting people mingle, or not, as makes them comfortable, as they come to terms with their own mortality. There's no line, no hurry. You have eternity, and no one's going to tell you when you are ready, or how you have to feel about your passing. Some of the seated souls who she passed had a crackling, angry energy to them. Others were so serene, peace radiated off them like light. Still others were twitchy, or stunned, or sad, or looking around curiously. She approaches the desks and finds they are staffed by a diverse array of souls, including those from different time periods. Lily finds herself at the desk of a Middle Eastern woman named Sita, and we have our first mention of a soul file. A tangible, unfettered manifestation of everything she had ever been. Your soul file contains all your past lives, with, for the purposes of this story, your most recent life being the most important. And you remain the person you were as of your last life, but that's not to say that your previous lives have no influence. They're just not relevant to your current judgment. Judgment is divided by religion, with a caveat. Christians are judged by the basic tenets of Christianity as a whole. There is no Catholic or evangelical or Baptist version of judgment. Alongside that are the universal constants, like valuing kindness and condemning cruelty. The same applies to all other religions. This prevents people from saying that they followed the teachings of a cult and using that to try and circumvent the system. There is also unbiased, universal judgment under no particular faith. But honestly, most religions just come down to don't be a dick. So this is what you are judged on. If you, let's just say, cling to your Bible while cutting snap for hungry children, or hoarding money, or abusing immigrants, you will be judged for your cruelty, not your Bible clinging. Now, let's be clear. No holy book is perfect. They were written by man and are very much products of their time. Miss Lynn acknowledges this, both in this book and her TikToks. For all the good quotes attributed to Jesus, such as, "Love thy neighbor," there is also, "Slaves, obey your masters." The afterlife presented here is kind. The universe wants people to be comfortable. If you spent your entire mortal life believing in a religion, having that suddenly stripped away is going to be deeply uncomfortable. It would be traumatizing to learn that all you ever held faith in was a lie, even if it was a kind lie. Probably something you would carry forward with your soul through future lives. So God and Krishna and Zeus and Odin and Pele are all real. But judgment is based on the sort of universal good that transcends language and does not depend on the writings of people. Souls that are judged favorably go to the paradise of their choosing, but are not bound there. You can have your heavenly paradise, but still visit other realms as long as you are a good guest. Souls that are judged unfavorably have fewer options. They can go to the punishment realm of their belief system, or they can be sent to hell, which predates all religions and is the model for all punishment realms. From a world-building perspective, this is just so that the help desk can catch all sorts of bullshit without having to explain why a guy who professes to follow the Norse gods, but was really just a white nationalist, ended up in hell instead of Nestrod. As Lily is waiting for her turn in judgment, there's a man sitting on a bench waiting for his wife. They have had 3 lifetimes together. It's not super important, but it is a very sweet detail, and the foreshadowing is always fun. We also get our first look at demons. A being walked out with an armful of stapled papers, looking harried. Towering over everyone in the hallway, Lily included, they appeared to be female, with fine features and an aquiline nose, and a body built along powerful athletic lines. Smooth navy blue skin was offset by dark gray shirt, black jerkin, and leggings, all decorated with intricate embroidery along the hems and a pair of immaculately buffed, calf-high boots. A pair of spiraling black horns near her temples gleamed in the being's straight blue-black hair. This is Mora, and she's looking for souls that have been misplaced, because other souls were being obnoxious. If you have ever worked retail of any kind, you know exactly the kinds of souls holding up the process. I cannot express how glad I am to be done with customer service of any kind. I wasn't good at it. We have a moment of customer service worker solidarity, and Mora wishes Lily luck on her judgment, before heading off to deliver her paperwork, cutting a swath through the souls just by being a scary demon. They pass some souls having a pout in the middle of the floor because they don't want to be judged, and they can't leave the entrance hall until they are. Which is funny because they can't outwait literal eternity. So they are being gentle parented by the universe. Finally, Lily reaches her own judgment. I really like this sequence. Moments of a lifetime. All of them very normal. A child stealing cookies, being read a bedtime story, babysitting, trying to be who she was told she should be, finding out she doesn't fit that mold, forcing herself into it anyway, growing into who she is, the brain weasels telling her it will never be enough, the sadness of when you see someone achieving your dreams, being told you are too much and not enough, learning to shut out the voices, the recurring fear of religious teachings of damnation. It is an unremarkable life. No great destiny, no special features, but always just trying. And that is where we will leave Lily until the next Upon Reread. Thank you for your time. Let me know how I can improve your shelf.